Most people do not know how to run these businesses well. 2.5% of all of the funds that are in PitchBook, so over 800 of them, have ever generated more than 3x in 2 funds. So this is a hard business, it turns out. You can't just wake up and be an investor, it turns out.
There is a generation of venture capitalists who were added during the boom, who were operators, but they've never been taught to have the discipline of capital allocators. And one of those key pieces of discipline is asking uncomfortable questions and doing uncomfortable diligence. You can trust people, but you need to verify. That is a key part of the job. You can trust the founders, but you have to verify that the data you have is correct. The fact that SoftBank did this at an incredible valuation and the person who did this deal never checked that the customers were real makes you unfit to serve in the job. And I will do diligence. And during that time period, Friedberg, I had many founders say to me, you're asking for more diligence than the lead. And this deal is closing and we are oversubscribed. And I said, okay. And they said, okay, so you're not going to require this? And I said, oh no, we require this diligence. We want to see your very basic stuff, your bank statements, your P&L. Give us a list of 500 customers from last month. We'll give you 5 numbers. We're going to talk to 5 random customers. Like, people did not want to do this stuff. We do that at our firm when we start to own 5-10% of this, and we train our founders to be ready for proper diligence. All that diligence is happening now. In the early stages, there's not much to go on, but you can check stuff. During this period, founders used the hot market to not participate in the due diligence process. And when you look at companies, a lot of times people will suspend disbelief. This company, Baijiu, I don't know a ton about it, but it seems to have, like an educational app. Great business. But then their business and their revenue seems to be based on a series of like Kumon, like in-person instruction. Well, that's not a high gross margin business. Sorry. If you have to have a storefront, you're not a software business anymore. And so people started giving valuations to these companies that were real world businesses, that were low margin businesses, and they gave them valuations for high gross margin businesses. And that was another mistake. And you put those two things together, not doing diligence and then just misvaluing of actual assets, that's the cleanup work that's going on right now. And it takes years. I mean, it took decades for them to pinch Bernie Madoff. It can take 10 years for these frauds to come out. There was a guy who kept telling the SEC about Bernie Madoff. I think he was like 9 years since the first time he let them know that the perfect returns were just not possible statistically. So it takes time, but they're picking these folks up everywhere. Do Kwon got picked up in Montenegro, the guy from Luna. It's going to take a decade to clean up all of the fraud in our space.